Welcome everybody to another BitShares Open Agenda Hangout on the Beyond Bitcoin Network. Today is Saturday, June 23rd, 2018, and I am Official Fuzzy. I join you guys every week with a bunch of computer nerds and interesting people who like the idea of blockchain disrupting the world and making it a better place for us. We join every week to talk about BitShares related issues, and anything that directly connects with BitShares and helps it. We want this to be a place where people can go to our posts on eostalk.io, on steemit.com, on bitsharestalk.io, and post RSVP to our RSVP thread with various things that they feel are important, whether it's a project, a worker proposal, or just a topic that they think that should not go unnoticed within the BitShares ecosystem by those who are hodlers, as we like to call them in the crypto space. We power these hangouts with cross-chain tokens that we created using WhaleShares technology built by Elmato and designed by myself. And we have been using these to reward people in a kind of opposite version of what crypto journalism to this day seems to have become. And we leverage that to kind of create a Voltron effect that you guys will hear me so often talk about as we begin to launch into the stage where various chains are going to be able to provide services to citizens of other chains. So with that said, we create this synergy. We reward people who join up and RSVP according to the template given. And we ask everybody who joins every week to consider sharing content that is done here with anybody who they think might be interested and resonate with the method by which we accomplish what we accomplish here. We want to keep this open. I have found that the community generally does very well historically. We get along very well. People don't really abuse it. And in the few cases that has happened, it's relatively been pretty quickly figured out. So with that said, I want to thank everybody who joined up this week, and I want to go ahead and get started with the agenda today. So let's go ahead and start off. As always, we will start off with the BitShares State of the Network excerpt. Today, this is provided by SPP, and SPP, thank you for posting that for Steam Power today, and we'll go ahead and go through that excerpt right now. The BitShares Blockchain Foundation has released a report titled Spokesman Report 2018-05. BitShares Blockchain Foundation, BBF, which covers the legal letter from Paul Hastings Legal being sent to Bittrex and others accounting, Blockchain London, and more. At Bitfest_AMST, Twitter account has tweeted, "We will soon announce the first speakers of Bitfest Amsterdam." So that's going to be going on, and that's going to be an interesting thing. Up after that is the BitShares white paper has been updated, so go ahead and check that new BitShares blockchain PDF. After that is at mrkt.cash has announced the launch of Market Cash, a P2P cryptocurrency exchange where you can buy and sell tokens for fiat money such as USD, ruble, euro, CNY, and others. After that is Agorize has announced the release of PalmPay version 1.14 and Spark and EasyDex integrations in the development source. So those are some updates from the BitShares State of the Network report. And as always, if you appreciate the BitShares State of the Network report excerpt, you will always appreciate going to the actual report, which is posted weekly to the @SteamPower account on the Steem blockchain. And you can go ahead and see that @SteamPower on there, and that will be posted again every week. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and get to our lineup for guests for the day. They will be done in the following order. It will be starting out with EasyDex, and then we will talk with Talknator about some different issues that he's posted. Chris4210, we're going to try to add you on to the end if possible because you signed up a little bit late, but that's no problem because this offers me the opportunity to also inform everybody really quickly. You didn't know that you were signing up late. What I generally tell people to do is make sure that it's posted 12 hours before. The reason why I do that is because PowerPix does all the slides for us, and I don't want him to have to worry about doing all of it last minute as much as possible. So just out of respect for him, I like to try to tell people to make sure to go with at least 12 hours before these hangouts. So if I go on there and 12 hours beforehand, your post is there, we will make sure that it's up to the top. Otherwise, we have to kind of wait until the end to make sure that we have time. I hope you guys all understand, and I hope you guys understand that this is not punitive in any way, shape, or form. It is simply just how things have to work. We have to have some set of rules that we abide by for basic reasons, and it's nothing huge, obviously. I don't think anybody's going to be upset about it, but I do want to make this clear for anybody. If you are going to be posting, make sure that you do post 12 hours before the actual hangouts. That way we can make sure that we are prepared for you. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and go on to, I will step back and I'll ask the peeps from EasyDex, aka Walrus and Padalenko, to step up and provide any updates that they have.
Hey, everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah, we've had a lot going on this week. We had the Atonio app launched with BitShares or BitShares and EasyDex integration. So the Atonio app, for those that don't know, they've been on here before. It's basically a trading bot, market making trading bot that you can set up, and it gives you all kinds of granular control over when to buy and sell and everything. And by integrating EasyDex, you can trade all the EasyDex pairs against BitShares or against each other using the app. And we're talking about doing some kinds of incentives to promote the market makers, but we haven't got it fully worked out yet, but that's something that we're working on right now. In addition, Agorize announced that they will be integrating EasyDex into their next version of PalmPay. And PalmPay allows merchants to accept pretty much any type of crypto, or a giant list of cryptos anyway. And it converts it immediately into BitUSD. And then the EasyDex integration, they'll be able to take the BitUSD or any smart coin, yes. And you'll be able to take your smart coins and trade them for our fiat-backed assets, so you can then withdraw them to your bank account. And I believe he's going to have it set up so you can have it automated to send a certain amount or a certain percentage every week, or however you set it, to convert your smart coins into the EasyDex fiat-backed accounts or assets so that you can withdraw it to your bank account.
Ken Code says, and it's grandma friendly.
Yes, and it's easy enough, even your grandma can use it, which is something we always shoot for at EasyDex too. So definitely on the same page with that one.
Well, first off, I'll thank. We'll have to hand out to a lot of winners. I'll have to hand out to a lot of winners. Good. I hope that we all have a bunch of winners in here, and I'll say that it's good to hear that Atonio has finished implementation of the EasyDex stuff in there, and that they're going to be supporting that. I think one of the things that really helped was that you guys created a form of account recovery where people could pretty relatively safely store their keys in an encrypted way that only they could access. I think that was one of the things that really caught their attention initially. And of course, I made sure to let them know that because I thought it was important that people knew that we've been waiting for that for a long time and that you guys brought it to us. So I'm glad to see Autonio and PalmPay both working with you guys now too. And of course, I think now would be a good opportunity to also let people know that you guys are still doing the EOS style or AGS style crowdfunding drive.
Yep, we're still doing that. And for those that don't know about the token campaign, it's for the portfolio builder tokens, so EasyDex.pb on the market. And the portfolio builder tokens, we take half of the market fees collected from our crypto gateway assets, and share drop them on token holders. So it should be a pretty good investment there. And the way we're distributing them is through a kind of a similar to EOS style distribution, where but on BitShares rather than Ethereum, so a lot easier to work with. But users just send BTS to the account EasyDex-pool, and every day we take the amount of BitShares that are in the pool and divide the amount of tokens to see how much to send to people, and then we distribute the tokens every day based on how much BitShares you put into the pool that day. And we actually started a buyback because we pay some people with the EasyDex PB tokens that do stuff for us too. And so they were selling below the pool price. So to make sure that the people who participate in the pool get at least, usually even better, a price than the market price, we put in a buy order every day equal to the pool price, so that we can make sure that it doesn't ever go below that. And speaking of the gateways, our Bitcoin gateway is active. The Bitcoin gateway is the only one that allows you to, that I know of, that allows you to set your own miner fee. We don't charge a withdrawal fee, and you can set your own miner fee. And our minimum is 3,000 Satoshis, which is like 10 times cheaper than the cheapest one. And that sets it at 3 Satoshis per byte. So most of the time, that's plenty to get your withdraw into your wallet rather quickly. And you can always set it a little higher if you want to make sure it gets there faster, if time is of the essence. But we also send those withdrawals right away, so it should appear in your wallet as a pending transaction immediately. So, and I think Monday we're going to be releasing the Steem and SBD gateways. So that's good. For the first time, people will actually be able to trade their Steem and SBD pretty much directly for fiat assets, because you'll be able to trade it for our fiat-backed assets and withdraw those to your bank account. So it's all big news.
Yeah, I would like to ask you guys a quick question. It's obviously about EasyDex. So I wanted to show you guys real quick. Here's a YouTube video by Chris Coney. And I don't mean to come across mean by saying this, but I will say that Chris has known about BitShares for quite some time. And that BitShares is a potential opportunity for him, but he's been so big into the ETH crowd for so long that He just really hasn't come over to our area very much until he is. And he made this emergency message saying basically that Stripe had essentially told him that no longer will he be will they be working with him essentially. And there are certain things that he's going to be needing done in terms of payments. And he said, here's what I get for working within the crypto community, to which I agree. But I also am kind of the state, at the place where I'm saying, if he would have been in BitShares for all this time and leveraging BitShares, and knowing, because he knew that it worked, maybe this could have been fixed beforehand before Stripe ever had this chance. But I wanted to ask you guys if there was any, if you guys agree with that, if you guys agree that EasyDex might even be able to help with that.
Not sure. Completely. Go ahead.
Well, okay. Well, with essentially Stripe told him that all the payments that they process for him and all that stuff will not be possible. So I'm kind of curious, like how we could leverage EasyDex and BitShares to potentially help him. If you guys have any thoughts on the matter, because I was listening to this and I was thinking, man, how sad is it that for the past 3 years he's known about us, but just because it hasn't been so popular, he hasn't worked with us. And if he would have worked with us, maybe we could have actually helped on these fronts. But I'm trying to figure out exactly where you guys think we might be able to help with something like that, or with somebody who might have been dropped from using a payment processor of some sort. Could they just
Sure.
somebody a BitShares wallet and start paying them that way and having them process to their bank account that way, for instance?
Sure, we can provide a sort of payment processing service for everyone who is willing to use our services.
I would even say in a case like his, the PalmPay might be the way to go. And then he could accept payments using PalmPay, convert it into the EasyDex fiat assets, and withdraw it to his bank account.
Sounds to me like that's kind of how I think of it, but I wanted to get you guys out of your mouths before I said anything further. But I just do want to bring this up because I don't want to do this to call people out and put them down, especially when they're in an emergency situation. But I do want to make it clear to people, this is a perfect moment to really, I think, paint the picture, a real, true picture of what the crypto scene really kind of is, where these options have existed for a long time. That there are things that we could have been doing. Even if PalmPay didn't exist yet, there were things that could have been. If people like Chris Coney would have come around and said things a little bit more and recognized the value of the platform, we would have had more opportunity to help people like him even before. And I think now that we have the stuff that you guys are doing, and especially like what you said with the partnerships with PalmPay and Tonio and all that stuff, I think we're at a place where even without the support of big people who are well known, BitShares has accomplished essentially what he made a video asking for people to help him do. And I will say right now, and you guys can take this and make a clip out of it if you want to, but if Chris Coney wouldn't have spent so much time in Ethereum and would have spent more time looking at the space that he's talking about in the cryptoverse, and he wouldn't have been so held back, I don't believe, and in a position where he's having to ask Ethereum and them to try to help. And even now, I think we could reach out to him and probably try to help him. But I do want to make it clear, because it kind of, I don't want to say it saddens me or pisses me off or angers me, but I will say that it's unfortunate to me that these have existed for so long, these tools, and with more support from the outside crypto community, these things would have happened a lot faster. But even without them happening, we're still, as a community, accomplishing great things. And even without their help, the tools exist to help them in their time of need. And I want to make that very clear, and I hope that everybody will take that for the record, because it's not anything against Chris Coney or anybody else. But what I will say is I've seen this for years, and we're still seeing it in FUD with delegated proof of stake and things like that, that the crypto community doesn't want to acknowledge what we have here to a large degree. It's the black sheep. But it's the black sheep because it does everything that other cryptocurrencies wish that it could do.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Actually, I didn't even think Ethereum could help them with that in any way.
Exactly. Sorry.
We can.
So is BitShares like obviously it's more superior than Ethereum. I'm definitely I'm just chiming in here. I've been trying to use BitShares since the beginning of we've been trying to put all our assets and our units and all that stuff together, Official Fuzzy, and we've just had time and time again I've had issues trying to find developers and people to help in this space that would just like they do help with Beyond Bitcoin and things like that, just volunteer and support and contribute and help build the platforms to help market BitShares and bring more people to the platform. How would we do that? What's the best way? Like, would we talk to people, and can we talk to you later on about it and see if we could work something out there?
Well, I can tell you that when we were looking for developers, basically pretty much everybody that's familiar with BitShares and is a developer has as much work as they can handle. So what we had to do, we had to hire developers that had experience in their respective languages and React and stuff like that.
I see.
And train them to use BitShares is what we had to do.
I see. Okay.
I mean, expecting that people will just volunteer and build things, it's really impossible.
Yeah. What does Stan do for the BitShares ecosystem? Like, I never really see him in these chats or anything, but does he ever do any voice chats or anything? Because I did reach out to him a long time ago about a project to do on BitShares. Like, I think it was a big, more of a decentralized energy production, and I could see that being pretty big. And they didn't really sound too interested in it. It's just like, well, when you bring something big to these guys, wouldn't you think they would be open? Like, this could have helped with mass adoption for BitShares. Actually, most definitely it would have, and it still could.
You know what I'll say exactly? This is just me, but I think that a lot of people expect to reach out to Stan a lot and Dan and to other people and ask permission to do good things. And one of the things that I try to get across to people is I don't think that they need permission.
Okay.
So I would say if you have a good idea that you think is valuable, bring it to the community as a coin and show them the white paper, let them ask questions. That's really, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, we did that. Yeah, and they didn't even they looked it over, and then he said he was just too busy to look over everything, and it's like, that's all right, no big deal. It's just I just thought it was a big project that would be on the BitShares chain, and we ended up having to go for Ethereum, and I don't really like Ethereum at all. It's just
let me ask you. Yeah. Well, maybe we can go a little bit further into that during the after party, but I'll just say this: a lot of people want to put everything on Stan or Dan or one person, and it's our tendency as humans to want to do that at times, right? So I'm putting you on the spot.
No, I definitely don't want to do that. I was calling him that. I wanted to support BitShares platform, work together, bring actual projects, bring new members, clients, that kind of thing. And this was a big client outside of the cryptocurrency space, and they were looking at Ethereum, and I said, don't use Ethereum. I'm just a private consultant. That's all I am, right? Anyway, and I was just telling them, don't use Ethereum. Ethereum's going to cause you all kinds of problems, and whatever, they can't scale. And so they ended up reasoning after talking to Stan, and I had them on the line, and they talked back and forth. And then Stan never did actually get back to us, but he did sound very interested, because he even said, he even brought up all kinds of different ideas and everything. And he said, yeah, I'll get back with you guys. And I just think he's got too many things on his plate, to be completely honest. And delegation is the key to any of this succeeding, right? Is you got to be able to delegate things. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm willing to help Stan and Dan and any of these guys not just me, but our whole team, everybody here, to help them get the things they need done. And we're not charging them for it. We just want to get it done. Like, whatever needs to be done. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know what project Stan is his main focus is currently. I don't even know.
Yeah, well, I think that the big one that he's working on right now is Zeos, obviously, in the early stages, right? But and I assure you that's a full-time job. But I will say that I would urge everybody to consider it. It's the irony of this sometimes is kind of lost on me, that a lot of the time in cryptocurrency we think that we need the permission from other people, and we really don't. Like,
no.
Sam, I would urge you.
Yeah, I keep telling that to people I'm advising, Official Fuzzy, is that we do not need permission. Like, we could take over any of these coins on the market if the developers have just taken off and walked away or whatever. I mean, we don't need to go create a new coin. We can take a coin that already has a community around it, and then become the leaders of that community, if that makes sense. You don't need permission.
Create a coin and share drop it. Those are the types.
That too, yeah. Yeah. I need help with that, by the way. I'd like to figure anyway, after party, or if possible, if I can just get I don't know, 20, 30 minutes of your time later on, I'd really appreciate that. It'd be great. And then
no problem.
I'll mute myself for now unless I have anything else.
No, I just wanted to keep it on EasyDex, but you did bring up some of this stuff along those lines, and I wanted to bring it up to EasyDex to make sure that, I think it's important that we recognize that this technology has been here for so long.
Yeah.
And that we remind people that it's been here for so long, and that so many in the crypto community who are considered and in many ways are experts. Okay. And that's almost what makes it more sad to me to listen to that this happened, because it's like we could have helped with these types of things. But since there's this tribalism, and since there's this fear of coverage because you won't get coverage from other projects or something like that, these types of things only hurt people. So
wasn't the major reason why this never even got off the ground was like BitShares and everything never got to, because it never got the funding that it required? Is that the truth? And then there was like big Chinese guys or whatever that took massive amounts of the BitShares and hold on to them or something like that. That's what I heard. I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, well, what I'll say is this. I believe that BitShares has actually gone off the ground. It's the largest blockchain in the world up to now, at least.
Yeah.
So I would actually I would say dodge that premise a little bit. But that said, I will say that the hard things I think that have come from BitShares have been, yes, partially lack of funding. That has made our lives a lot harder.
Yeah.
At least until we found people who didn't care and would get it done regardless of funding or not, because they were people. But that's kind
what we're. Yeah, that's the same challenge we've had as well. I agree with you completely. Once you find people that actually see the vision, though, and they're just like they consider it as their own. It's like, nobody owns BitShares, nobody owns Bitcoin. And nobody owns any of these cryptocurrencies. If you go and try to put a CEO and a CMO and CTO and all that stuff on top, it doesn't really make them the owners of the project, if that makes sense, right? It's the community in the end. If the community decides not to use the technology, it doesn't matter how great the technology is. If nobody wants to use it, then it dies, falls apart.
Yep.
Sadly, right?
So, and the reason that I think that it's important that we recognize this is that we're in that stage where a lot of people in crypto say that this is what we need to do, right? And they've been saying it for a long time. And I think that, to go back to your question, I think BitShares has mostly suffered from people being kind of afraid to even mention its name, because it meant that the mining people, the people who are hardcore advocates for mining, saw it as a threat instead of seeing it as another opportunity, maybe potential solution or a side chain even that would even solve some of their problems. They said, no, there can be nothing but mining. And that's the only way tokens can be distributed. To which I say this is ridiculous, and it's sad and a little bit depressing that we'll only look at, that we'll only eat one flavor of ice cream the rest of our lives.
Right. Like, geez, that's ridiculous. I don't even like ice cream that much, but definitely.
Oh, I do. But the point is, like,
I get your point though.
but the point that I bring this up for is it's not to attack Chris Coney, but it was to. I really feel it's important that we shine the spotlight on people who are in positions of great trust and respect in the crypto sphere, who have failed themselves to a degree on this by not acknowledging it. Right?
Yeah.
We've been here to help. We've been here this entire time. And I just want it to be very clear because there's a lot of FUD about depots continuing, right? And I think I'm on the cusp of something that I think we're going to see forward. And I think maybe some other people will agree with me as we move forward on it. I think that even the governance stuff is going to become a big deal with what delegated proof of stake can do. And once we add in atomic cross chains too, which is something that other blockchains really cannot do, like at least to the degree that they need to, I think we're going to see a huge change in the space. And I think that it's about time. And I think that this emergency video that Chris Coney sent out, God bless him, is kind of the canary in the coal mine for that to me, especially when afterwards, and that's why I asked you guys from EasyDex, Walrus and Patty, if we could help them, because I think it's very telling for us to be able to say that. And of course, Walrus, feel free to step up and say anything you have to say. We've run over a little bit, but I think this topic is real important too.
Yeah, like I said, I think, well, first I want to say that, like, the thing about BitShares is we've solved problems that the whole rest of the crypto sphere is still working on and still really not any closer. Like Binance did their $1 million come out with a DEX. We've had a DEX for years. You know what I mean? And what they're coming out with is going to be more expensive and slower than Binance. Then there's no way they're going to come up with something that's faster and as cheap as BitShares, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's just the longer a lot of coin, like if you look at coin market cap from 5 years ago, almost all the tokens on there aren't even around anymore. But BitShares is one of the few in the crypto space that's really in it for the long haul.
Right.
So, you know.
Well, it's interesting too. If you go to coinmarketcap.com/historical, you can see what it was when they first kept track of it. I think it was on April 28th, 2013. There was only 7 coins listed. And it's just like, guys, anyone got a time machine, I definitely would like it. That's for sure, because I know which ones. I knew which ones were like nothing, and now they're up through the roof. But yeah, you're definitely right though. Like Litecoin, for example, was only $4.33 back in the day, and it definitely survived. Bitcoin did, Purecoin did, Namecoin. Whoever really talks about Namecoin anymore, right? But it was such a genius. It was such a genius concept, though, right? And see, BitShares can do all of that, right? It could do all the stuff that Bitcoin could do. Litecoin, Namecoin. Well, what can Litecoin do that Bitcoin can't? Anyway, whatever. And Namecoin. Well, Namecoin had the ability to register domains on the chain. I'm pretty sure BitShares has that ability too. No, like name registration.
Yes, I think that it wouldn't be exactly. I think there would be more work to it than that, but I think the base to do that, and I have some ideas on those fronts as we move forward too, because I think that we need to move forward on those fronts. But I'll also say that I really just wanted to make sure that Walrus and them got an opportunity to say what I knew the answer was, but it's important, I think, that we leverage this stuff and that we take this information to people like Chris Coney and let them know, hey, you're somebody who's well known in the space. You're very knowledgeable about cryptos and you're teaching people about cryptos, but the one that you've kind of under acknowledged, is the one, ironically, that would protect you in the instance that you're having an emergency. So the irony of it is not lost on me. It's almost like CryptoKitties in a way, but I don't bring it up to be hateful or angry. I bring it up just to let people know who are listening that they should, if they ever talk to him or if they ever meet him, they should ask him, or tell him, there's an option. and let him know that, you know what, even if it's not popular for you to do it, it helps you and it helps people who are like you. And if you can help people who are having the same problems, is it not your duty as somebody who's a part of the crypto space to do that? So with that said, I just wanted to bring it up, and I think that EasyDex is a great place to do that because you guys have done a lot, and I think that the partnerships, like you said, with PalmPay and KenCode, I think that's another one that's going to really help us on a lot of these fronts. And it's a perfect, and it's at perfect timing.
Definitely, and the for like the problem you were talking about with Coney there, like the PalmPay EasyDex combo is just the perfect solution for that will probably never go away, so.
Now, real quick, if anybody wants to reach out to you guys and contact you, how do they do that? I know we kind of got a big chunk that wasn't your segment that was kind of important.
This is our Discord channel.
So for those people who are, I'll just read it off here. It's https://discord.gg/6 capital D, lowercase z, capital Q, capital J, lowercase. And thank you for joining up and providing your updates today. I'm sorry that it went a little bit over, but we do have a little extra time.
Just a suggestion. Just a suggestion for EasyDex. I don't mean to interrupt, but EasyDex, you guys can have discord.me/EasyDex. Just go to discord.me and set it up. It's completely free.
We'll definitely have to look into that. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, make your life a little easier, and also let you track it too. So.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got that off of the plate. I think. Thank you. I think it's a good time to thank you guys for doing what you do, and for everybody who's out there who's participating in this community and all the other communities that are supporting delegated proof of stake. I just want to thank you all and let you all know that we run these Hangouts as a template. We're fiendishly working on getting things ready so we can decentralize all of this. But I want to make it clear that whether it's decentralized or we're running it like this as an open agenda, it's been you guys who have made this possible. Everyone, you guys who are all joining and participating. So thank you, everybody, to the people who do participate in this, who spread the word. We've been doing this for a long time because we knew that, because I knew, and the people who support me, I believe I can talk on saying this, but I hate to say we knew on this one, but that this was going to be needed. That there is a lot of there are a lot of crypto avenues out there and crypto journalists, and so much of the crypto journalism that I see is so false and wrong. Sometimes, and obviously lies so often, and they paid for this, and this is the model. So what I've tried to do here, and it has not been easy, but you guys, all the people who help us, have made this possible.
Yeah.
You guys have made it possible for us to do something different, where you are the ones who step up and become the people who you are, the experts that you are. Those of you who care enough to be researching this stuff day in and day out, you are becoming an expert because you are passionate about it enough to learn. So I want to make it clear that all of you guys are making this possible by establishing and helping to promote what we do here. So I want to thank everybody who's participated, everybody who shares. Remember, you don't have to upvote us and give us a bunch of money. You can share our content with people who will care about it.
Right.
All right. So with that said, we've got Taco Nader is up next up on the plate. He's got a couple topics that he would like to discuss today. Taco, are you ready to step up?
I hope so. Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Great. Thank you, Fuzzy, and hello to everyone. The first topic I would like to bring up today is the release of PalmPay version 1.1.4, which is now available on the Google Store. So that's appropriate for Android devices. With this app, it is a point-of-sale app that allows any business or merchant to accept digital currencies for payment of services or products. I think one of the parts that are interesting, very interesting about it, is that anybody who has any digital currency can use the app, and as long as the app accepts QR codes or NFC signals, essentially the invoice can be sent to their app. The app on the customer's device, the user can then use the app to pay for it with their currency, their particular token. Then the system receives the payment and then converts it into the merchant's desired form of currency, of token, let's say a pegged asset such as BitUSD or BitCNY or BitRuble. And as a result of this, there's no cost to the merchant. And I think this is a very interesting app because of the ability to enhance the usability of digital tokens and also to facilitate transactions among people. And actually, yeah, that's the summary. I thought it was interesting for people to take a look at, and perhaps if Ken Code is here, if he wants to elaborate anything that I might be overlooking. Okay, so that was just a recap of this new app.
It's okay, Ken, and I'll step in and I'll say that this is something that Ken's been working on for quite some time, hasn't given up on it, and it's getting to the point where it's here. And we have, we're sitting here at a time when it's a bear market, a quote unquote bear market. But for those of us who've been here, it's like now we're sitting here and we're saying like, man, I remember being here when it was like when BitShares was 8 million market cap. And I think it went as low as 4 million at one point in time. And
I picked it up at like 10 cents a piece, and then the event happened, which you don't need to. Anyway, whatever. And I had to sell like over 1 million of them, and then they friggin' had to go up afterwards. So it's beautiful. It's great.
Yeah, but it's kind of
how's that time machine come along? No.
Well, I bring it up because it's one of those things where we're in this space where everybody's complaining, and literally it's like I watch it on the telegrams and the discords where people are like, you can almost see people running around with fire in their hair, like like, oh my god, this is the end. But Ken has been working on this since back in the day when BitShares was like very, very low market cap. So it's taken him a lot of effort and a lot of grassroots work, and it's here. So I'm glad to see that it's moving forward.
Yeah, you guys have all come a long way. I like to say that it takes time to do things right. These people doing these ICOs and raising hundreds of millions of dollars, it's great, but if they can't execute after they get the money, then they're failing, in my opinion, and they're actually hurting the market.
Exactly.
So
they're failing all of us. They're including themselves, because when everybody gets so afraid that, oh, everything I've ever bought into is going to fail because it's going to CryptoKitties on me. At what time are they going to say I'm going to stop wanting to buy in, right? So really we're at this place where the BitShares share drop culture is still strong, and it's also echoed in EOS, probably with a lot more money behind the marketing. But nonetheless, it still exists, and I think that's where we're moving. And I think actually that BitShares can help facilitate a lot of those share drops. And I look forward to us being able to push forward on that share drop culture as we move forward, because what we're beginning to see is that share drops are the new ICO. You should not have to worry about paying a bunch of money to paying a bunch of your primary tokens into projects if you don't know if they're going to be valuable or not. you should not have to risk that as much. Now, people are doing share drops and asking for buy-ins and stuff like that, but they're also trying to give to those who made the technology possible because they want your eyeballs, because you're a very special demographic. I think we're going through that phase. We're getting started on that now.
So it's pretty easy to, like, so let's say we have these community units and we want to share drop them out to everyone holding BitShares. That's pretty easy to facilitate. Like, I just don't know how to do it. So
we have share dropping tools that we're working on as far as my team. So that'll be there. I'm sure other people will too.
Okay, but how is it? So I know Ronnie has already been doing share drops. So does he have his own tool that he just uses? It's like closed source or something?
He has a team who does that stuff.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And is it fair to say, Fuzzy, that these are tools that are, and they're an extra layer or above the actual BitShares platform, right?
Oh, yes. Obviously, anything that would be in the actual BitShares platform itself would come out. And you know this, Taco, but for anybody who doesn't know it, would come out as an update actually on the chain itself, which would probably have Fox and the core team coming in and giving updates on it, right? So you guys will be able to see when that type of stuff happens. But yes, these tools would be things that would be off of the chain. However, I will say that the people who work with me and develop things for me, they're very much of the mindset that I think you guys and I am. Well, I know that I am. Where they like to make sure that if at all possible, you're never giving your keys to an actual service that's online.
Yeah.
That, like, you're actually store your keys locally, right? Essentially. So that's one of the things that we do with Mazdax, where you can post to multiple mutual aid societies, chains and things like that. Like that's what we're doing because of these reasons, essentially. Right? Now, Taco Nader, there's another thing we're going to be having problems with, right, is going to be these people are wanting to share drop on EOS. I'm trying to tell everybody, one of the things that you got to be afraid of when people share drop on you is, are they going to launch a wallet along with it that's going to grab you? Things like this. Like, people need to recognize that stuff. And I think that BitShares is in a great place for us to help with these types of things in the EOS community because they don't have all those tools. And I think if we do help the EOS community, we'll end up, benefiting from it too. And I think from the cross-chain synergy, if nothing else, guys, because we do want to build Voltron. At least that's what I'm here for. And if you want to be here with me working on that, by all means, I'm ready for Voltron to come together and wield his epic blade. Okay,
Voltron. That sounds like a great name.
Well, imagine all the lions as their own backs. But anyway, let me go ahead and move on back to Taco. Feel free, Taco, to bring up your next point, or if anybody else has anything they'd like to close on with this topic.
What about video productions and stuff? Because and memes and things like that. That's one of the best ways to get the word out about, like, to get to the masses of millions of people, to get a message across to them, like jokes, memes, things like that. Artistic expression.
Yeah, that's a great question. What we do for the cross-chain synergy stuff, we all have initiatives that we distribute tokens for meme challenges and art, and we actually have video challenges and all kinds of stuff like that. Like, you could actually go look at some of the Milkbox, Project Milkbox. Actually, another ICO that's going on right now.
Would it be counterintuitive to start our own BitShares exchange, like Clone, and work with EasyDex? Like, or would that be counterintuitive to have like two exchange? I don't know. I'm just thinking outside. I'm thinking out loud.
I think that's a topic that we'd need to bring in during the after party because it's long.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. As long as I don't have to go to breakfast soon.
Yeah, but I will say that's.
Even if I could just get your ear later on too, we can always bring it up later too. So outside of the meetings and stuff. But
Oh yeah, well, it's no problem. The only thing I have to be very careful when I'm wearing this hat, guys, just because I want to make sure too. And we have a little bit today, but that's fine. We do tend to sometimes go off the beaten path, and when there's an important topic and an important connection, for instance, like with the emergency with Chris Comey and what we can do using the tools that are available and created by the people who are in this hangout, right? That's available. But I didn't want to go too deep, and I do want to make sure Taco continues being able to cover his topics. So,
right,
quick, Taco, is there anything else that you'd like to say on this topic before you move on?
No, not on this one.
Okay, well let me go ahead and step back then and let you step up and cover the next one. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. The next one that I have is an offer by Kevin Messerly to be a proxy on the BitShares platform. So just as a brief recap, for those who might be listening and are not as familiar with BitShares as we are, within BitShares, there's a governance system that allows every stakeholder to vote on various efforts within the community, such as voting for particular block producers, also known as witnesses, voting for committee members, and voting for worker proposals. Every stakeholder and their vote is proportional to however much stake that they actually hold and control. They can vote on these particular items all on their own within the wallet. But also, in addition, if a person does not wish to do that, does not want to keep up with all of the available options that are available to vote on, they might choose to actually delegate their stake to another person, another account, and allow that account to vote with the stake behind them. And these are what we call proxies. So someone who has come out recently is Kevin Messerly Kim Chi King to be a proxy on the BitShares platform. And there's a link here that anybody can go and follow up on about his statement. Just very quickly, he has been saying, he describes what his intent is, and also he's been out there in the community as well, of providing support on various different forums that are available. So I would encourage people to go and review his proposal and just talk to others about what they think about him, and also, whether that is appropriate for you, whether you want to vote directly or whether you want to vote through a proxy.
And to make it clear, whenever you're delegating your tokens, for anybody who's new out there, for those of you who are new, it's worth it to be aware that when you delegate your stake, you're not giving it to anybody.
Not too much.
Giving them the voting power that comes with it. So if I delegate to Taco, I'll still see my tokens in my account, but Taco will be voting with that stake. If that makes sense to anybody. So Taco could never access my funds. All he can do is vote with what they're worth.
Yeah, good point for that clarification.
Just for we call them nublets in gaming, or newbies, and it's worth it though, because we all start out as newbies. I think it's worth it sometimes to just reiterate some of these things. Now, with that said, does anybody else have anything they'd like to say regarding? I'll say that personally, that Kim Chi King has been doing a lot of work. I've always seen him ever since he came on the scene doing a lot of work, and I know that that he was discussing how to do loans on BitShares, and he seems like a very knowledgeable person who's kept quite busy in the space. I personally do. I up to this point, I've seen no reason not to like Kim Chi King.
Do you guys know Dima Starodubtsev by any chance? I know that's a completely weird name, but
yeah, I would need that to see that typed out. But Dima, D-I-M-A, is from Rootex, if it's who I'm thinking it is.
I don't think it's blockchained. I don't think it's him.
Okay.
So it's Dima Starodubtsev. He's a pretty cool guy. He built a bunch of open source stuff for cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and all that stuff. Cyber.fund, and then he abandoned that because he didn't like the direction the people were going with it, and it went more corporate. And then he's doing a search engine now. So, but I think he has a lot of things on BitShares, so I should reach out to him to see what his interest is on that. He's like a blockchain engineer. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would say these hangouts are specifically for people like him to join up if they have things that they're doing that would be valuable to us, or if they feel like there's something of interest they'd like to.
And then what if I wanted to give something to everybody here? Would be able to facilitate something like that down the road? Obviously, I don't want to do it today, but like, yeah. So if I want to get, like, okay. All right.
We actually have a lottery bot in here that Fav runs. He gives out tokens every week, so people just participate in the lottery. And I'm sure that he's interested in giving out other tokens. You'd probably have to talk to him about your token, but
okay. We did also go ahead and start building a BitShares tip bot because we just see the need for it in Discord and stuff like that, to be able to tip people BitShares for doing tasks, or even just rain out to everybody actively in a voice chat, or things like that. And it's all completely open sourced. We're still looking for more developers that understand BitShares. That would help a lot more. But it is definitely here. I'll post it there, and that's just completely, it's for everybody. It's BitShares tip bot. It just doesn't fully work yet. Still working on it.
Well, just so you know, I don't know how much you've been working on it, but I have a team who's actually working on ShareBits, and it's pretty much done. It's cross-chain. We're making it look pretty, so maybe you guys are interested, but we should talk about some of those things in the background, because I do have plans to get that to the market and get it to the people who are part of BitShares. But I don't you're of course more than welcome to continue on that path. I just want to let you know, maybe show you some stuff that. So if you're spending money on it, essentially.
We definitely look at it though, because it's all open source, and maybe some of the codes and stuff, I don't know, some of it could help with what you're doing. I don't know, some ideas or something. Because there's only one programmer that put it together, and he just saw the need to have this because there's a lot of tip bots in Discord, and they do work really well to distribute the coins. Distribution is the key to any of these coins, in my opinion. If they're in the hands of just people, it's not going to really. It's all speculative, right? You need to have millions of people using the coins, trading, exchanging, speculating, holding on to them, that kind of thing. So, yeah. Anyway, all right. I've got to go, but I'm just going to stick around. I'll just mute myself, and then I'll let you guys continue. Hopefully I'll be back in a bit before the after party starts. I just got to go for now.
Sure. Well, thank you for joining up.
Yeah,
and of course, Taco, if there's anything that you'd like to bring up regarding this topic that you already haven't, feel free to go ahead and do so. Otherwise, feel free to move on, or if somebody else has something they'd like to step up and say regarding it, please do so.
With regards to the proxy, I'm wrapped up on that point.
Okay, so wrapped up meaning finished.
Oh yeah, nothing more to say about that.
Okay, cool. So you have one more topic, though, that you have planned for today as well.
Yeah, so there is one more topic. However, it is a lengthy one, and I have a feeling we might not have enough time to discuss it well today. So maybe it would make more sense to offer it as a suggestion for next week, if that seems all right with you.
Well, I will say that I've extended them from 60 to 90 minutes maximum. So if you guys want to go 90 minutes, if it's something that you guys feel is important enough to do so, I say feel free to continue.
Okay.
If not, it's fine too. And we can always move it to next week if you think that that's best. It's, this is all voluntary.
I have a sense that I would like to delay it to next week, please.
Sounds fine with me. Okay, so Chris 4210, I do want to bring you the opportunity to take a couple minutes to introduce yourself and let everybody know a little bit about Pager. And I would really like to just utilize this moment though to let everybody know that Chris, you're not. I'm not trying to punish you or anything and make you last, so to speak. Just making clear that we vote on things 12 hours before. Generally, I go look at it 12 hours before, and if that's the case, generally I want to make sure that everybody has it done, posted. That way, we vote on things to reward you guys for RSVPing. My team, led by Power Picks, will get things ready that they need to get ready regarding what you posted. They'll be aware. So I just want to make it easier for them to be able to make the slideshows and make sure that we've got the orders set and everybody knows the order and all that good stuff. So if people post, we'll try to fit them in if we can. But if they haven't posted within that 12-hour window, we can't guarantee them to be, they would have to kind of like be at the end of the show. That said, you're obviously with your face down working on things, so you didn't necessarily know that. But
yeah, I'm a little bit out of the loop how the BitShares Hangout is done right now, but that's not a problem. So for the next time, I can definitely sign up earlier. Just did it basically this morning because I wanted to give some updates about Pager, where we stand, what is the current platform doing. And yeah, I'm happy to share some insights, answer some questions. And for the next week, I will just sign up earlier.
Sounds good. All right, well, guys, we're at 60 minutes. I'm going to just announce something that I announced beforehand to everybody, but it's pretty important that I inform you guys because I think that you guys tend to be kind of experts in your own rights on this stuff, right? There's a big issue with decentralization, the idea and the concept of decentralization and governance on delegated proof of stakes chains, considering that they are not decentralized. Some people even say that they're not blockchains, that governance is just that they're not supposed to be governed, that code is all law, and that we should never have the capability to self-govern on these chains. To me, that's scary as hell. With that said, I'm not against proof of work. I think it's a valuable thing to have in the ecosystem. I think options are better than no options. I think we should always recognize that. However, with that stated, EOS has been getting a lot of heat lately because of them trying to be a governed chain. There's a lot of people saying that BPs are too centralizing and too centralized, to which I've been saying we need decentralized autonomous communities, corporations, companies, collectives, cooperatives, however they want to be organized. We need them to be block producers. And I believe that that is the route to go. I think it's also going to be something that adds another layer of governance where within each community that is a block producer, you would have voting on the block producers there, and maybe even the top block producer then becomes the main block producer for the EOS chain, then create a connection as a side chain for those MAS chains. They can be their own decentralized entity that is in and of themselves more decentralized in most ways than Bitcoin is and other cryptocurrencies are. But if we have DACs that also are BPs, then that makes EOS even more decentralized. And the reason I bring that up in here is because we have EOS bits that we've been passing out to people who've been participating in these events for quite some time. Anything like from tokens to tweets, art contests, what is your favorite voting portal, all these things. And the reason why we do this is because it does directly help BitShares, because BitShares is where all this started, and BitShares is where this is going to be traded. And there are a lot of things that BitShares can do that other centralized exchanges may not be doing. And even if they do them, they're not going to be able to do them probably as well as BitShares. And even if they can, it's going to be a lot of money, a lot of effort and a lot of time for them to accomplish it. So the points I bring to this is not to put down centralized exchanges, but I will say that I believe those who are saying that delegated proof of stake chains are bad, they actually don't understand. They don't understand that each delegated proof of stake chain as a MASDAQ, a mutual aid society, can be its own guild of people, its own tribe, so to speak. And they can all exist, self-sustain, and even be voted in to represent as block producers, as decentralized block producers, truly decentralized block producers, mind you, on EOS or on other chains, and provide that for EOS as well when they're voted in. So what we're doing, Dan has asked for, and I will say this, I've got to say it, it's important for me to say it. In the very early days in our EOS talks that we will be having tonight as well at 8 p.m. Eastern, we've been talking about eostalk.io forums. And we provided those on Steam as a place where uncensored content could be posted because we believed that Ned rightly believed, or I believed rightly, that Ned would censor things about EOS. When I believed that and found that to be true, I was happy that we had taken this step. But another thing that I said was that generally, that even though I've spent a lot of time and seen a lot of things, amazing things that Bytemaster and team have done, that I also tend to think that a lot of the stuff for EOS would not be ready when it launched. And at first I was being told by a lot of people that I was wrong on that. It seems that I may have been right on that. As Dan recently came out after some of the governance issues and said, we need this to be on not a centralized forum like is being done currently on EOS, but on a decentralized forum. He advocated that people use Steam to do this. And I reached out to him and told him, after one of our community members told us that EOS Talk, told him that EOS Talk existed, he said that works. And I reached out to him and told him that we have done this in preparation and in expectation of issues like this arising. So he is interested in it. And what I decided to do, though, here's the problem. Because Steam doesn't seem to upgrade very much since the whales haven't seemed to take a whole lot of interest in doing those things. The nodes on EOS really, on Steam really are not that good for our forums. We have a lot of problems with them. So we said, what is the problem with us moving it and creating our own DAC? Creating it as a block producer, because people have asked me to be a block producer and told me that they would upvote me. But you guys know me. I don't want to have too much power. I don't think anybody should ask for too much power. I think it should always be a group of people working together who have that power. So with that said, I'm going to be creating an EOS DAC, an EOS chain. It's going to be an actual DAC that is a block producer, using the mutual aid society chains that have been improved by my team, with some other things that are improving on that front. We are going to be able to do a lot of valuable things. And I want to let you guys all know that the EOSBit token is going to be share dropped 20% of that. So if you guys have been working on things and helping us and earning EOS bits, congratulations, you're going to be getting share dropped some tokens in this new chain, and it's going to trade on BitShares. I've asked EasyDex if they will consider adding it. I have heard nothing to say that they will not. Rudex has already told me that they will add it. So we're going to have a couple gateways off the bat. I urge you all to let Ronnie know as well that they should be considering adding this. And I don't say this to put down EOS DAC, but EOS DAC is not a DAC. It's not. It's just how it is. And I urge everybody to realize that as we move forward, because we want to help people like EOS DAC become a DAC as well. There's nothing keeping them from having their own mutual aid society chain. However, we're leveraging these to create what Dan needs, and we're going to do it on its own chain, share drop, one-to-one on EOS, which is going to be 80% of the chain, on EOS bits, if you're holding them, or if you've bought them off of somebody who's holding them and has earned them, hold on to them, because they're going to be worth tokens in the next chain. And I would urge you guys to leverage the value proposition that's going to bring to BitShares. Now, I don't always go on here and advertise what we're doing, but one of the reasons I'm doing this today is because I think it's very important that BitShares recognize that they're one of that they might be the heart of Voltron, right? If we can make it so it's easy for these places, for people to make tokens and for DACs to make tokens that are going to now fight to be block producers on the chain, we now set a new standard, right? We now have more localized governance that actually boils up to the top to another layer of governance. So this adds another layer of decentralization that was not even possible before. But in addition to that, we're going to directly work on leveraging the value of this chain to produce side chains to EOS. And that means that if it's not already done, by the time it gets done for BitShares, by the time it gets done on this chain, there should be a pretty easy path forward for it to be done on BitShares as well. And I just want to let you guys know, as this moves forward, I'm not going to be a huge stakeholder. I'm not going to be a Ned. I'm not going to even probably be a Bernie. I'm going to be holding tokens just like everybody else. I might take some for my own work, but I will probably not even have any more than the people who are presently working on it. So I want to let everybody know that we're actually not talking the talk, we're walking the walk as a group. And we're coming up with answers. So the only thing that I can ask you guys to do is let people know about those answers. Because if they don't know about them, in effect, they don't exist to those people. So the more that they know about it, the more that people will be able to say, hey, I heard that this FUD about governance. Well, EOS and delegated proof of stake chains act as a balance of power to one another. So where is that for altcoins, right? Why is it that we can't have governance on those levels for other altcoins? And the answer is simple when you boil it down. Proof of work and even proof of stake chains of present don't scale. They can't do it. So congratulations, everybody. I just want to let you all know that. This is a strategic point that I think is very important for us to play out and continue working with. And I want to let you all know as we move forward, the EOS bits are going to have value because of my team and the people who are making all this possible for me. I want to thank you. And with that said, we are at 75 minutes. I'll give you guys about 15 minutes early, so we'll shut off before the 90-minute mark today. But I did want to let you all know that we are moving forward with this. It'll be done within the week. I look forward to seeing DACs littering CoinMarketCap and Blocktivity.info in the future. So thank you very much for everybody for joining up. Please participate. Please leverage what we're doing. And please don't be afraid to earn our tokens. The tokens we give out are to help people who otherwise, I know, would most likely not be paid for the things they do. So I hope that you guys will recognize that, leverage it if you don't have any way of earning tokens other than that, because we've been doing this for a while for you guys. So with that said, thank you very much for everything that you guys do, and we'll see you guys during the after party, but we'll see you also next week.